Hello everybody, a quick video of me doing my wheels. These are my own wheels for one of my bikes. This is just the primer stage, so I thought I'd film it. I don't normally bother filming them, but I thought I'd give it a go and see how we go. So the gun I'm using is it's a Chinese copy of an Iwata W101. It's got a 1.8 tip. You can buy them on, I buy them on Aliexpress. You can buy them other places as well. You've got, I think, 0.8, 1, 1.3, 1.5, and 1.8 tip sizes available. So I mean they come out about 25 to 30 US dollars, which is at the current rate about 24 pounds, something like that. 26 euros, 28 euros, something like that. So they're not expensive at all, and they actually spray really well. I've done an unboxing video on one, so I've got a few of them, and they've all sprayed absolutely fine. Obviously different people have different views on what is effectively a knockoff product. They've taken somebody else's research and development and just copied it. So, it saves them all the time and expense of doing it, I guess. But the end user gets a cheap, usable spray gun. That's the idea of it anyway. So, anyway, back to spraying the wheels. This is just a 1K primer. I do use 2K as well, but I'm doing this outside, so I only wanted to use a 1K. You're better off using a 2K, but I've used 1K on wheels loads of times, and it's never been a problem. I never get any peeling or anything like that. As long as you prepare the surface well enough, it doesn't seem to make any difference. The gun actually sprays really well. The only problem you get with I don't know whether it's just the 1.8 for primer. I haven't used any other size for primer because I use a high build primer, so it's quite thick. But you get the odd spit. Only, I suppose probably 5 or 6 spits on the whole job, which is a pain. It's not that difficult to get rid of. I just use a sharp blade and just take the edge off, because I'm going to go over it with a top coat and then some lacquer. So, it's the odd spit, but I haven't had it with any other guns. I got a DeVilbiss FLG, and that hasn't given me any problems at all with spitting. So I did try thinning it down, and if you thin it down, you do get slightly less spitting, but you still get the odd one. So in this video, I didn't bother thinning it down at all. So it's literally as it comes out. So I've masked off, as you can see, I've masked off the inside of the wheel. I've actually left the bearings in this at the moment, because the bearings were taken out about a year ago and packed full of grease, and it's only had dry riding on these wheels. I say these, I've got a front and a back. Hopefully you'll see the back later. So it's only got dry riding on it, so I know the bearings are absolutely fine. So what I will do is I will just spray the wheels completely, finish the job, once the tyres are on, and then I will repack the bearings on the outside with grease, because they've got rubber seals on them, so you can pull the rubber seals out and put the grease in. I know you're not supposed to, in theory, remove the rubber seals, but I've been doing it for 30, 40 years, so it hasn't caused me any problems at all. I left this stage in because I missed it out at first, because I thought, nobody'd want to see that, but it's just a degreaser. I use a normal solvent degreaser just to degrease them. They've been degreased about 12 times altogether. I've washed them. I washed them originally when I first was getting them ready, so I washed the wheels. Then I did 320 grit all the way around on everything, and then I washed them again, and then I degreased them I let them dry, let them air dry, and then I degreased them completely, and then I blew them off with an airline, degreased them again, and I just brought these out, and I thought, well, I'll just do a quick degreasing again before I spray. But you know, there's nothing on them. I'm out in the atmosphere, but it's you know, it's very secluded. It's actually got a roof as well where I'm spraying, so nothing really gets in. You know, that's too detrimental, as best it can be anyway, without a booth. If you've got a booth, then obviously you stand less risk of getting contamination, although you still do get contamination. So we're just finishing off this now, and then I'll get to the spraying. I'm doing the whole wheel, so I'm doing the inside of the wheel without the tyre on, because what I want to do is the back one's actually all right, but the front one is leaking air slightly on the bead. So last time I used a bead sealer, and it did work. It worked okay, but I thought to myself, well, you know, if I'm going to paint the wheels, I might as well take the tyres off. I'm going to change the tyres anyway, but take the tyres off and spray the whole wheel, including the rim, with primer and with a base coat, so that it's got rid of any impurities and imperfections there. So I sanded it all down on the inside of the rim where it makes contact with the bead of the tyre, and removed any debris and corrosion. You get a slight bit of corrosion or oxidisation of the aluminium, and cleaned it all up nicely with 320 grit, then 1000 grit, then some grey Scotch Brite. So it's all nice and smooth inside, which is why I'm spraying the primer on the inside, and I'll also so in a later video spray the top coat inside. I won't spray the clear coat though, because I fit the tyres myself, and I haven't got a proper tyre fitter. I'll just use levers, so it's inevitable that sometimes you make a little bit of damage on the outside of the rim. Just remove a bit of the paint. Sorry, I was just taking a drink now. Remove a little bit of the paint. So I need to do it as best I can before I fit the tyres, and then I will mask up the tyres and do another 2 top coats of paint, and then do the top coat, shiny top coat. I don't always like shiny top coats on wheels, but I'm going to try it on these ones. This is actually another set. This is my original set. I got a spare set as well, which I've got on the bike at the moment. So I just bought these. I just bought the others as a spare set to be going on with, so that I could look after the wheels that are on there. And this is the original ones that came with the bike. So as you can see, I'm just in the final stages now of finishing off the priming. It's come up really well. I'm quite happy with them anyway. You can see I've sprayed my arm a bit, which I don't normally do. It's just that I'm conscious of the camera being there and trying to let you be able to see things. So I've done a lot of this spraying from one side. Obviously, I'm turning the wheel, so I don't want to be touching wet paint, and I'm using the inside where it's masked. So I just turn where it's masked. And I'm trying to show you as much as I can. So I ended up with my hand turning the wheel on the inside, on the side nearest the wall, if that makes sense. So that when when I was spraying, it was actually going over my arm. But not normally, I don't do that. And of course, if you were using like a 2K product or something, you wouldn't want it over your arm anyway, really. I'm a hobby sprayer. I spray. I'd probably spray about twice a week, but it's not I don't do it as a living. I do it as a hobby. So I mean, there's probably things people say, oh, you're doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong, which I may well be, but I'm doing it the way I do it, and it's worked for me fine. So I'll just bring this video up to an end now. I hope you enjoyed it. It's the first time I've ever narrated one with, you know, not live. So hopefully it's come out all right, and hopefully I can do the next 2 stages and upload those for everybody to see, if anybody's interested. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll just leave you to see the final bits. Cheers. Thanks very much.